Good morning, students. You are all welcome to the PLBC Visual Classroom Simulation lessons. My name is Nuruddin Gide. I'm working with the State Ministry of Education, Government Senior Secondary School, Kofa and Dhaka, Katsina. Our subject is civic education, and today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is human rights. Class, I believe the name of the topic is very much familiar to you. That is human rights. Do the class have any idea, or any of you does have any idea what is meant by human right? Do you have an idea what is called or referred to as human right? Nobody can try? But the topic is familiar. When we said human right, we'll be hearing it over the media, over various platforms of expressions. Human right. Cool? Okay. Human right can be defined as the rights and freedom of humans, rights and freedoms of humans that are entitled for. All rights and freedoms that citizens or humans are entitled for. That is what we call or refer to as what? Human rights. That is the rights a human being, a particular human being, or a certain citizens of a particular country that are entitled to exercise, whose there is no government interference in it. That is what is called human right. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. E.g., civil and political rights. When we said civil and political rights, for example, the civil rights are those rights that a human being or a citizen is entitled for within his community or society or his country. For example, when we said civil and political rights, the rights to vote and be voted for. Every citizen of a particular country has a right to vote or what? Be voted for. Rights. Or to own a property, or to freedom of expressions. All these are civil and political rights. Maybe you have something that in your mind that you wanted to say or criticize a government. You are entitled to do so. By the provision of what? For example, in the country of Nigeria, by the provision of our constitution, you have the right to what? To express yourself. This is what we call human rights. That government will not interfere as long as you have a what? Constructive criticisms or views. So simply, by definition, this is what we call human rights. Then, secondly, we have Then we have the types of human rights. These are some of the examples of human rights, both in terms of civil and political rights. We have right to life, right to work, freedom of expression, rights to social amenities. These are some of the examples of human rights that any particular human being or a citizen of a particular nation or country is entitled for. We have so many of them, but these are some of them. Right to life. As a citizen, as a human being of any particular country, you have the right to what? To live in that particular country. It's a right. It's not a privilege. Then to work. Also, if you are qualified to be given a certain work or responsibility, you are entitled for it. As long as you keep to the prerequisite of such work, then you have the right to work. Also, freedom of expression, saying your own personal views. For example, in a political atmosphere or political dispensation that we are in now, you have a right to criticize the government of the day. Constructive criticisms. Because you are hearing your own view as a human being and as a citizen of that particular country. So you have that right. Right to social amenities. As a human being and a citizen that you are being governed in a particular country, you have the right and access to have access to social amenities within your environment. Those social amenities may include good healthcare services, good transportation networks, education, potable drinking water, electricity, and so on, etc. All these are social amenities that government of that particular country has to provide, and you as a human being and as a citizen of that particular country, you are entitled for those social amenities that I have made mention. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. Then also fair hearing. For example, you are being convicted in a court of law. As a citizen, you have the right to be heard. Fair hearing has to be given to you. You are charged you committed so-so offense. Why did you commit it? You will not just be taken out. They will be sent. Okay, we sentence you based on so-so report that we have that you have committed. So we have sentenced you to no. You have to be what? Heard. That is fair hearing. You have to be you have to have a fair hearing before you are convicted. Then also religion. It is a right, a human right in any given country for any person or human being or citizens of that particular country to practice religion of their choice. For example, in the case of Nigeria, we have the Muslim faiths, we have the Christian faiths, we have those that are practicing traditional religion, we have those that are pagans, they worship idols. So it's your right. Nobody will say, you must be a Muslim, or you must be a Christian, or you must practice traditional religion. That is what is meant by freedom or right to what? Religion activities. So these are some of the examples of or types of human rights. Any questions so far on what I have said? Any questions so far? So we shall continue. Then we have protection of human rights. That is, how do we protect those rights? All humans are born free and equal in dignity and what? Right. Despite our colors, despite our various nations or continents, we are all born free and what? Equal. So this human rights is not exceptional to certain category of people. That is why those rights has to be what? Protected. In protecting the rights, a system of law was created to protect the lives. To protect these human rights, a certain law was created and called Human Rights Law. That is why I underline it. Human Rights Law was created to what? To protect those human rights that we have made mention earlier. For example, freedom to religion, freedom of expression, freedom or right to work, right to what? Life. All these freedoms have to be protected. So a certain law was created to what? To protect those rights. The law is named or called Human Rights Law. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. Thank you. Then the next aspect is Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The human right is not exceptional to a particular country. As long as you are born, it's a right, and you are all equal in dignity, as we have made mention. So the rights, the human rights, are not exceptional to some other countries. Is a general. That's why they call it Universal Declaration of what? Human Rights. To make it in general. If a right of a Nigerian citizen is abused, it's same thing as a right of a person from Ghana, Kenya, Dubai, Germany, etc. All we have those rights, and they are being protected by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It was adopted The declaration was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly on December 10, 1948. The United Nations General Assembly currently is headed by a Nigerian citizen. So this organization, or the United Assembly, declare the universal human rights on December 10, 1984, whereby to protect all human rights and their freedom. And this includes the following. Have you taken it? Are you true? Can I clean it? Okay. These are some of the declaration of the United Nations General Assembly, that each particular citizen or a human being from any particular country has the right to individual and relation to each other, or groups. Right to individual in relation to each other, or what? Groups. Then spiritual rights, economic rights, social and cultural rights, public and political rights. The right to individual in relation to each other, or what? Groups. That any particular person has the right to associate or relate with one another or certain groups from any part of the world, not even within his country. He has the right. You have the right to be a friend. You have a right to have a friend from Germany, and you'll be interacting. Or groups, or you belong to that particular groups. These are some of the first declaration by the United Nations General Assembly, that each individual has a right to relation with individuals or groups. Then also spiritual rights. That means you have the right to practice any religion, right to belong to any faith of your choice. Then economic rights. You have the right to resources and own property. You have the right to resources of your country and to own property in that your country or what? Environment. Then also social and cultural rights. To interact. You belong to groups, not governmental organization groups, political parties, and to adhere to your cultural rights. For example, a Hausa Fulani man can dress as I am dressing. I have that right because it's what? My culture. An Igbo man from the south can dress within the predominance of his what? Culture. Then public and political rights. In public, you express your view, freedom of expression in the public. Then political rights. You also have the right to join any political organization of your choice. And also you have the right to vote and what? Be voted for. All these are public and political rights. And all these rights were declared by the United Nations General Assembly, as we have made mention earlier, on December 10th, 1948. So these are some of the declarations of the United Nations General Assembly. Any question? Any question? Okay, let's continue. Rights. Universality of human rights, inalienability of human rights, interdependence and indivisibility of human rights. Universality, the first one, universality of human rights means all human beings involved, all humans in the world have equal rights. That is, the right is of equal. Despite the color, continent, region, anywhere you find your world, the declaration is the same. As long as you are a human being, it's the same thing anywhere. Then we have inalienability of human rights. That is, your right cannot be taken away from you. Those rights that were stated cannot be taken away from you. For example, freedom of expression cannot be taken unless you are convicted by a court of law. But you have that right to express yourself. That is an ability of human rights. Then interdependence. All humans are indivisible, interrelated, and interdependent. That is, you have the rights that are specific or being specified to you by the declaration. So these are the three characteristics. Then, lastly on the topic, we have categories of human rights. The last aspect on the topic human rights is categories of human rights. These rights are being categorized into 5. We have civic rights, political rights, economic rights, social rights, and environmental rights. These are the 5 categories of human rights declared by the United Nations General Assembly. Civic rights are examples is, as a citizen, you have the right to life. You have the right to work. You have the right of association to individuals and groups. All these are civic rights. Then political rights. As a citizen and also a human being, you have the right to participate in all political activities. For example, you have the right to vote and be voted for. You have the right for joining political parties and organizations. You have a right to what? Campaigns and political rallies. All these are individual political rights. Then economic rights are rights that a citizen is entitled for in terms of the resources available within his country, and also the right to own a certain property. That property may be a company, that property may be a farm, that property may be a house. All these are what? Properties. And me and you knows it, we all individual persons own such properties. It's a right. And also with the economic resources available in the country. Then social rights, interactions, relation with one another, with groups, religion. All these are social rights. Then lastly, environmental rights. A particular human being or a citizen is entitled for all environmental rights. that is the environmental resources available within his environment, being it forestry resources, vegetational resources, land resources. That is why we own properties. We build houses or we build industries on lands. So these are what we call or refer to as environmental rights. An individual has a right to the various environmental resources, being it land resources, water resources, vegetarian resources, forestry resources, and so on and so forth, etc., etc. So these are the 5 categories, and this is all we have under the topic human rights.